Namaste. Welcome to fall, y'all. One thing we know that will never change is that things will always change. The way we perceive and respond to change can absolutely make a heaven or hell of life. Let's talk change and transition. Embracing change for deliberate transition. Life is either a daring and great adventure or nothing. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it. Helen Keller. One thing for certain is change. Everything changes. For life to continue and thrive and be the adventure it's meant to be, it must change. Life's changes are seen in the cycles and patterns of all of nature in every aspect of life. The very first workshop I taught was on change and embracing it. Even in my early years, I knew that change was both a joy and source of suffering. Change and the need to transition brings with it emotions on the grandest scale. With change, there's loss and gain. Consider the bride who gains a wonderful husband only to let go of her single life, or the parents of a beautiful child that must give up their freedom as a couple for the greater needs of the child. I worked in both intensive care and labor and delivery as a young woman, and this afforded me the valuable life lessons as I experienced the process of death with many people, and then paradoxically, the change to see families gain a new member with the joys of childbirth. I saw where the person leaving this life often being in absolute peace, and it truly surpassed my understanding at the time. I also experienced where the birth of a new human could be the source of a huge amount of highs and lows. In essence, the experience I gained at that time in my life truly created a foundation of wisdom and inquisitiveness that has served as an insightful guide throughout my adult life. Change is at the center of potential, transformation, and growth. However, it is a power that when we hold the regrets of the past or grip the future can capsize us and cause extreme emotional, psychological suffering. This suffering shows up as grief, fear, doubt, depression, anxiety, shame. Deliberate transition is a masterful skill and empowers one to embrace change. Deliberate transition as an antidote to the suffering that comes from what I call destination addiction. Destination addiction is a state that reflects one's attachment to the past with an aversion of change or being in a state of limbo. Destination addiction is a bargaining, one-day win, and as this frame of mind, it shows up in denial, isolation, through building strong defenses, through analysis, or seeking to create a suitable story. Blame, the tendency to need or to find someone to judge and point the finger as the other is responsible for the suffering in this change. Escalating the need to control the outcome of others' behaviors. This can also be characterized by a series of if only they would, ... or if only the worst, only bringing on a heightened experience of aversion to the present, to what is actually occurring. Resistance and the need to create an illusion that things are not what they seem, and this will show up through depression, anxiety, fear, doubt, lack of faith, and low trust in nature and intelligence of our universe will lead to low energy levels and lack of vitality, leading to wishing things could be different, leading to deepening grief or anger. Wishful thinking will only strengthen the ability to wish for life to be one other way. And this process is so disempowering to anyone. Procrastination and a feeling of immobility are a natural result from which all of this only feeds the process of destination addiction, where the individual's perspective lives from the one-day win, this will be, and you can fill in the blank with a number of once hopeful yet shattered dreams of something great. If you recognize any of these characteristics, there is a way out. It will take some work, and the process brings about such a great return and will set you on the track of living a passionate life that is filled with vitality, with passion. The most important antidote is acceptance, and what is learning to drop totally into the present moment, to live fully in the now. The only reason we leave the now is because the ego, our personality, will have us believe that we can somehow change or rectify the past and manipulate or control the future. If we are feeling pain, physical or psychological, or if we are vehemently attached to a person, place, or thing, and have a desire to seek only pleasure and our own way, this will erroneously validate a departure from the present. The pain felt at any given moment when allowed will be the strength that shows up tomorrow. By nature, we are guaranteed that everything will change. Simply do not stay the same. Learned acceptance is the allowing that will bring freedom from bondage of destination, addiction, and empower one to live a life of thriving. Acceptance is the ability to see life as it really is, not a story, not an illusion that will cloud our perception. It takes great courage and is the noblest of all pursuits to see life, ourselves, and the world as it really is. And the path to clarity and perception can be an arduous one. However, the desire to grow and evolve in body, mind, and spirit is the noblest of pursuits. Taking total responsibility leads us to becoming the empowered creator that we are meant to be. To develop the capacity to move beyond our primal mind, personality, and ego, to reach the heights of higher consciousness and optimum brain functionality. Acceptance and the experience of allowing the fluidity of life shows up in a few different ways. Taking responsibility, stop making excuses, gaining the capacity to respond totally in the flow of what is needed and helpful, ceasing the need to explain away or creating a defense for actions. AA describes insanity as doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Defensiveness is a mask for insanity. One that embodies acceptance will look to face the issue and see where he or she has fallen, being willing to look at one's own dishonesty, betrayal of self or others, and seeing the subtle little fibs made to support instant gratification and false security. There is such nobility in the characteristic of being willing to see and to see oneself honestly, truly the impetus of conscious evolution, bringing about such deep gratitude, moving one into prayer and to faith and to the coherent state of mind and heart, moving toward clear reasoning, moving into this field of acceptance, learning and understanding what it means to reframe our perspective so that we run clear and innocent through our voice, having the capacity to see and listen, to really hear others and their response with an enthusiastic yet dispassionate interest on how you affect the space and knowing what type of residual trails you leave behind. I'm not about to sit here and say any of this is easy, nor do I look for things to be easy. I will share that the process is quite simple. The challenge is sustaining the motivation and focus to live in a state of deliberate transition. The payoff, however, is a beautiful place where love trumps fear and forgiveness is the basis for relationships. This is the surest route to living in joy and gaining vitality and longevity. We need to be real, to love with abandon, plan our lives with intelligence, and choose a path for conscious development and growth. Choose a guide, a teacher. Be supported in stepping toward your fear, not running from it. Be vigilant in cultivation of a clear and present mind, releasing turbidity and chaos. Learn to allow the grandeur of what is seeking to unfold. And the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to establish a grand vision of your own beyond what you think is possible and get after it. The world is your playground, and change is what makes this adventure possible. Love to you all on this grand and beautiful day.